or getting what you want. I love this concept, and I started out with a story for you. Why not? Because stories do tell a story. And bottom line, here's kind of a scenario. And I have multiple stories that kind of collide in one. This is the way these podcasts come together for you, because I love stories and I love experiences and just sharing what I go through, because I know I'm not abnormal, and what I see can sometimes provide some insight, and you may resonate with these experiences. This one may be a little bit different. You guys don't probably know the heat that a alternative doctor takes. And although alternative medicine, so to speak, alternative therapies, I should say, because there is no alternative medicine. Medicine is medicine. Although alternative therapies have become more mainstream than allopathic medicine, which is traditional Western medicine, there's still this stigma that the medical doctor has the right and the ability to say or do whatever he or she wants. And if you're a medical doctor out there listening to this, I commend you, because you are stepping into an arena that is like I've done most of my life, which is an arena of learning, arena of actually seeing a different side, seeing how things come together from an alternative, and exploring that as an option. There are times that I recommend patients go and seek medical attention. These are limitations that the body has sometimes. And so medicine, if you look at it, has some beneficial stuff that keeps people alive. But as far as being able to drive the human condition towards a better place, 100% fail. We have not driven the human condition to a better spot. And we know this. These are the facts. So we look at the facts of health in America, and it's deteriorating. Our morbidity, mortality, meaning that we actually are starting to die earlier. Our disease conditions are going up and up and up. And we could debate this, we could fight this, but it's the fact that the way that we've been approaching health is totally and drastically wrong. And so alternative therapies start to show up. Well, they were actually around similar times that medicine started to catch on. But as we look at this, alternative therapies, people are like, gosh, they're disconnected, dissatisfied with the medical approach to things. Now, not everybody. Okay, but this is an explanation if you're a medical doctor or in the medical profession listening to this. But we come back to this aspect that a medical doctor is the end-all say-all. And so I had an experience over the weekend that I was sharing essentially what we are creating, what we're bringing to the table, what we're bringing as far as health. And this comes from a chapter out of medicine. It comes from a chapter that was lost out of a medicine that we actually bring to the table. It comes from one of the most researched substances in the entire literature. Like if you go back and look at the history of all literature, the top researched substance is vitamin C. And so I'm coming from this place of like, I love research. I've always based my life on that research, all the care that we do. We run a technique in the office that is the most researched technique in our profession. So it's like when I want to come and bring something, I bring the facts. And the facts is as I can see it, as I know it. And anyways, I get this feedback that everything that I said about what we brought to the table is absolute bullshit. And furthermore, that my ethics were questioned. They were questioned as to, do I really know what I'm doing? And have I done any scientific research? And the ethical concerns of me damaging people. And I was like, wow, I haven't had a shot across my bow like this in a while. And so the concept is, though, the concept And this is where medicine has literally gagged themselves. They literally put their hands over their eyes and then can spew out these angles with no consequences. And this is what I'm talking about today, is the concept of being right or getting what you want. Now, I could fight this and I could be right. No. You got to look at the literature. It's got to be all these types of things. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Here it is, and stack all these types of things. Now, with this individual, it's not going to matter because they have a reality that they have. They've stacked situations, they've stacked education, they've stacked all these types of things that they could not step outside of that reality. They could not step outside of that reality and look at it from a different angle. So they must be right. Okay, now I could fight that and be right. I could fight that and go in this direction of being right. But it doesn't allow me to really get what I want. And you know what I want? We want to create, and we are creating, a destination station for you and others in the surrounding area to come and seek an alternative to bettering your health. What's it? And so I surround me and I surround you with a team that's going to allow us to not be right, but allow you to get what you want and what you need and what's going to make a difference. And so despite a medical doctor sitting up there being, I'm right, what you said is bullshit, you're going to harm patients and you shouldn't do what you're doing, okay, you're right. But I'm just going to be over here helping people and watching things heal, watching the God-given ability of the body to actually heal and get back to where it was so people can connect again in life. That's it. That's it. So it's okay. You can sit on your ivory tower and be right. As the crack in the continuum happens, you can sit on your ivory tower and hire people to do the patient care that you should be doing. You can politically give away all of your rights to nurse practitioners and PAs and nurses and now MAs so that you don't have to touch a patient. So you don't have to engage anymore. So you don't have to be involved in the process, and you can sit back on a board and make hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars and be right. So story 2. Story 2 exists within I'm going to call it a sport. And let's call it a coach. And in this sport and in this coach, there is a way to do things, and there is a commitment level that is at, boom, here. And this particular coach has to be right. Like, you can't challenge, you can't look at a different aspect, it has to be right. And in being right, all the team members and all the parents are going to pull their kids. And ultimately what that coach wants is great players. We want a great team and we want to be successful, meaning win. However, the challenge that exists is that what we want starts to go by the wayside because we want to be right. And so in this coach's aspect, I want to be right. And I've surrounded my life with the fact that I am right because I want to be right. From the standpoint of where I'm at, I'm going to be right. Okay, so you're going to be right by yourself. And this is the idea that I want you to latch on today, is the concept of where in your world do you need to be right? That you're actually fighting to be right instead of getting what you want. Think about this. It could be with an employee. It could be with your wife. your husband. It could be with your kids. It could be even in your own body, in your own spirituality. And so how this plays out is often that we have, or we grow up with the influence in our world, the experiences that we go through. And go back to this coach, go back to this medical doctor, go back and look at these stories as examples. We have a formation of a collective group of experiences, the way we're raised, influences that have all been put on us day by day as we grow up. Even friends, classmates said things, told us things, did things to us, at us, around us that we actually start to adopt. And you see, we actually create a reality for ourselves based on these collective experiences, based on the collective public opinion of who we are, that we can no longer think for ourselves. So if you can no longer think for yourselves, what do? You fight to be right, based on a fictional reality that's not even yours. Let me put this in perspective. As this starts to kind of churn in your brain, put this in perspective. A doctor, medical or otherwise, challenges the research, challenges me, and says it's not ethical, and my bringing you these statements is not based on the literature. Okay, reality. Based on truth? No. Based on the collective experiences that he's had in 20 years being a medical doctor. Okay? Reality over here. You look at the research, and everything I said was based on medical research, medical doctors, and the number one researched substance in the world, vitamin C. But we get clouded by being right. We totally get clouded in being right. So this doctor was so clouded and so furious that somebody else could actually elevate the health game and deliver from people. That there was maybe even some other insecurities that started to boil up, that he fought to be right. The coach was so insecure on everything that he brought to the table, he or she brought to the table, that when anything was challenging to the systems or the way that it actually was set forth, that coach would rather destroy a little kid's life, crush a little kid's dreams, crush every experience that kid could have in an environment that they loved, because he wants to be right. She wants to be right. You see, right now for you, being right is getting in the way of getting what you want. You could be right about nutrition and the way it's supposed to be, or you could get a body that you've always wanted. You submit yourself to somebody else that may know more about nutrition and how to lean up the body than you do. And you see, instead of being right over here like, oh yeah, I've studied all this type of stuff and I know about nutrition. Nobody can teach me anything more about nutrition. And, that's not the way you do it. And this is the way you're supposed to work out and all these types of things. I'm going to be over here being right. Or you could get what you want. You could, with your spouse, be right. As you sit there, being disconnected AF, Used to think it meant autofocus. On a text, why is it autofocus? Because that's what it says on my camera. Autofocus. Nope. But we're talking about disconnected as, and you're right. You're sitting there being right. Where your relationship just dissolves. You haven't had sex in months. Because you're right. Your kids can't stand being around you because you're right. So there's twofold to this. Where in your world are you consistently trying to be right? That you could shift that into a direction of trying to get what you want. And one, to recognize that. And two, to surrender to the fact that it's not about being right. It's about seeing a different perspective. It's about actually walking a block to be able to see different points of view. To challenge, and this is the huge part of this, to challenge everything that you know to be true in your reality, i.e. medical doctor. Let's take a step back. Maybe there are people that have the same degree, have spent the same amount of time in school, that have a different perspective on nutrition and how the body heals. Then I could turn and say, maybe there is something I can have and offer. And some of the most powerful people in healthcare facilities and healthcare arenas now are medical doctors that have stepped outside of their box and said, look, I'm going to challenge this allopathic model and I'm going to learn some of these alternative therapies because there's value in this. I stopped being right for a moment to be able to step out and help patients at a different level and get what I want for them. To allow people to get what they want. Which is not to die under chemo and radiation. Which is not to have another surgery. Which is not to become a statistic of the medical model. Which is the third leading cause of death. Is not to be addicted to another drug, another prescription. Have another side effect. And so we step outside of our box and we challenge. I always love saying this. I didn't go to medical school because I wasn't smart enough. So I'm a chiropractor. I didn't go to medical school because I chose not to. Because I saw a different path that could help people at a whole different level. It's not that there's not good medical doctors out there. I know a bunch of them. And there's some in this community. And I love them. And what they do. And their understanding of medicine. It's awesome. But if you're going to sit there and be right about it and not see a different perspective, then fuck off. Because doctor never meant manipulator. Doctor never meant sitting on an ivory tower pointing fingers at other people. Doctor meant that you teach. Doctor meant that you lead people towards a better health. So in your coaching, you sit there and be right about the way it should be. While you crush dreams of little people, little boys and little girls. Instead of seeing that they're what? Maybe I challenged the way this was supposed to be taught. Maybe I challenged the whole sport in its entirety. And come up with a different way to actually handle these things. Maybe I realize there's more to a well-balanced athlete than just being able to perform and be in practices all the fucking time. Maybe it's about raising good people. Maybe it's the discipline in a sport that allows them to be better people. And maybe I just see a different perspective. And stop trying to be right. Maybe. Or maybe I don't. And then maybe I stay in this false reality. Continuing to be right. And then continuing to create stories about how people don't flip and get it. Continue to sit there and create stories about other people and judge other people and lie. Lie about the realities that I've never challenged. Lie about my truths that I think are true, but I've never challenged. Lie about how I show up in this world, it's in this environment, and how I contribute, and then make excuses and reasons why it doesn't work out at the end. And I get more focused on my drama. I get more focused on the chaos. And I find significance in my chaos, and I find significance in my drama because I've never challenged the truths that I know to be. I've never challenged the experiences and what I took away from those things. So you're getting this. You're getting this. If you're listening to this point, you get this. You're getting a gift out of this. And here's the gift. Right now you are trying to be right in a scenario. And you're sacrificing what you want. So step back for a moment. Get a perspective and say, is this truly what I believe? Is it truly what I believe that my wife should be in the kitchen cooking and dinner should be on the table when I get home at this time? So much so that I'm going to be right about this. That I'll never get sex. I'll never have an intimate relationship because she's so disgusted the way I am actually trying to be right and actually lay this down. Or am I willing to see a different perspective? That I could come home and connect and I could help and I could be engaged in all these types of things and change my relationship. And then eventually get what I want. Where is it in your world today that you're being way more right than getting what you want? You've seen it in the workplace. You've had a boss. We've all been there. We've had a boss. We've had people in our worlds. It's just like, hey, it's my way or the highway. It's like, okay. And they're more keen on being right than leading a group of men to get what the business needs. Or get to a point where actually something's achieved. Yeah, I have to question it too in my world. Do I want to be right on this or do I want to get what I want? So, I could be right. I could sit here and, all these types of things, or I can get what I want. And so it exists for you. There's a gift in this. There's some light in this. To allow you to live up above and just not survive a day, survive a life, survive a relationship, survive your workplace, survive these types of things, but to step back and say, hey, could I question this? Could I actually surrender to being right and truly thrive? Thrive in my world. That is your gift today. Can you receive it? In love and light. In love and light. In love and light. There's light in this for you. If you will receive the light, take a deep breath and you let go of being right. And you see a relationship start to flourish. You see your kids start to reconnect. You see your significant other want to be around you instead of being disgusted by you. You see yourself start to sail at work because you're a leader and not a dictator. You're a leader, not a dictator. I don't know where it exists for you. I know where it existed for me, because we're not different. I'm not different than you. I'm never going to sit in an ivory tower and judge other people. It's not me. It's why I do what I do. But I will come here and shed light and talk about truths, because that's what I'm destined to do. And I'll do it in healthcare. And I'll do it in other aspects of life. Because health is multifaceted, is it not? It is in your body, it's in your spirituality, it's in your mindsets. It's across the board. Health is life. Life is health. And that's why we're coming to you every day. And we can, on the podcast, to deliver these things. So in love and life, I will sign off. And you will question whether you were trying to be right in a situation. So you can be right on some fictional aspects that you've never challenged. And some falsehoods and lies in your life that you've never challenged. Or you surrender to the fact that, maybe there's a different perspective and I can get what I want out of this. That's it. Love, love, love. And more light, bringing you up and above. This world of just surviving into a world of